some Oregon notes. So I watched a lot of the pressers this week. Dante Moore's, CDL, Coach Dan Lanning's, Will Stein, Tosh Lupoy. They had some other players up there as well. And then, saw the practice video that everyone was tweeting out, the local Jays. I was there back in the day for about 7 years there as a student and then as a pro at K-Val of just like, oh man, we got 15 minutes to practice. This is awesome. Like I remember we got into a couple spring practices back when Taggart was there. I did a couple features. I think one on Brennan Schooler, but yeah, that's taken me to the Wayback Machine. But it was funny because it was like, okay, so I guess we are giving the journalists a little peek inside the curtain because largely speaking under Lanning, to my knowledge anyway, folks in the local journalism world have not been able to go to practice. I think they probably let broadcasters or maybe networks, game broadcasters or networks go to practice, but I hadn't seen any local J video this season. But I guess they went ahead and let them for a little bit. And by the way, I saw a report from Brett McMurphy that teams are going to have to start releasing injury reports ahead of the college football playoff, which makes more sense as college football essentially becomes more and more like the NFL by the day. And what I really mean by that is in the betting world, it's probably appropriate to let bettors and sports books know of player availability. That is basically why the NFL does that. I think that's been known for a long time, as the NFL has a mandatory practice health statement that comes out. A practice injury report is what it's officially called, and you see it every day. It's updated with did not practice or limited, and then like a parentheses what the injury is. So it seems like we'll see that more and more from college football moving forward, and according to Brett McMurphy, we'll see it this postseason a couple days out from the college football playoff games. With the wide receivers, we saw DeCorian Moore fielding punts. I think that's obviously a good sign that he's out there fielding punts and not just stretching. The Evan Stewart video, I saw a video of him just stretching. Who knows? I mean, I remember last year when he went off against Ohio State, 7 grabs, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Like, I think I said it in an earlier pod, but, dude, if Oregon gets a fully healthy DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, and Gary Bryant Jr. back, like, that is truly a massive difference maker for this team. Like, that is what takes them over the top against Indiana, or could take them over the top against a great Texas Tech defense or Indiana. Do they even need to play against JMU this weekend? Probably not. Like, my thoughts on that game, honestly, having seen JMU play in person, really good team, obviously. A good QB who runs a lot. I think he's got like 21 passing touchdowns, 14 rushing touchdowns, something along those lines. Obviously, Wayne Knight, the Sun Belt MVP of the championship game, ran for over 200 yards in that game against Troy. Like, they have a really good rushing attack. Oregon's D-line, Bear Alexander, Amari Washington, Tatum Tuioti, Mateo, the linebackers, Betcher, and everyone else, like, they should be able to limit that. Oregon's got up and down the roster, 20-something players who are going to play in the NFL. So to me, I mean, I'm very excited for the game. Very excited to see a playoff game at Autzen. Just the vibe should be great. It'd be better if it was Arch Manning at Autzen or Notre Dame at Autzen, as it could be next year, depending on legislation changes. Like, can you imagine if it was Notre Dame at Autzen on Saturday? Tickets would be going for like $400. People would be losing their damn mind. And same with Arch. If Arch Manning was in the house, people would be losing their damn mind. It'd be amazing. It's probably what it should be. But, I'm not one of those folks who's going to complain about the G5 getting in because, listen, I do think there should be one spot for the G5. I really do. I get that it's not as exciting. But, some years, and again, these years might dwindle, but some years like Penn State last year, they hung in there, played better than SMU did against Penn State. Like, there are sometimes teams from the G5 who can hang for a round, and I think it's cool that the highest-ranked conference champ winner of a G5, in this case 2, shout out to the ACC tiebreaker system, gets into the college football playoff. I do, but I obviously, of course, totally see the other side of it. Like, imagine how sick it would be if Jeremiah Love and Notre Dame were at Autzen this weekend. Be a much tougher game for Oregon. So Oregon fans, would you even like that? You probably would, but obviously it'd be a tougher game. Oregon should win this game. The spread is 21. Over-under is 48.5. Oregon should win this game, in my opinion, by it'd be alarming if they won by anything less than 3 touchdowns, maybe even 4 touchdowns. Like if you're truly a national championship caliber team, you should beat JMU. Again, a good JMU team, 11-1, Sun Belt champs. Only loss was to Louisville by 14. Good QB, good running back who run a lot. You should beat them. Like, this should kind of feel like Liberty, I think, in the Fiesta Bowl a couple of years ago when Oregon beat Liberty 45-6, and Liberty scored on the first drive of the game, go up 6-0. I think they went for 2 and missed it. And then I still remember Caden Salter, nice touchdown throw, and I was going, okay, that was a sweet play-action play, and epic toss, and they're up 6-0, and they're going to shock the world. And then Oregon rattled off 45 straight and basically sat everyone in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying it's going to be that bad, but it could be. I think if you're a Duck fan and it's anything less than I don't know, a 4 touchdown win, you're kind of going, that felt a little clunky. And I know that's kind of a high standard, but as Dan Lanning likes to say, the standard is the standard. Our standard is our standard. That's basically his answer, by the way, to anyone who asks, like, is your team overlooking this opponent? Like, do you think you should dominate? Like, how do you guard your guys from all the chatter on the outside that say it's going to be a blowout? Lanning's response: our standard is our standard. The wide receivers update again. If you want my best guess, I will say that DeCorian and Gary Bryant Jr. can play. Obviously, Bryant Jr. with that injured ankle against Iowa. DeCorian been out with a non-contact knee injury for a while. That's obviously very scary, but he was running around fielding punts, so it's not like he's been told to not run. Stewart, again, seems like it's further away. He got injured in June, apparently, and I think it was a patellar tendon knee injury in June, so that seems like that would be tougher to recover from. I kind of imagine he's not healthy enough, but at least he's stretching, which is a good sign in pads. I don't know. It does feel like he might be a little bit further out than the rest of the guys. Obviously, he hasn't played this year, so that would make sense. Finally, the Will Stein presser. He said, let me pull up his quote. I put it in my article on Substack. Quote, I wouldn't be in the position I am without these players, without these coaches, without Dan. I'd feel like a complete fraud if I left these guys throughout this playoff run and this opportunity in front of us. To coach an Autzen one more time, it'd honestly be crazy. And Tosh is the same way. We've poured so much of our lives into this program. Coach Lanning gave me an opportunity from UTSA. The last thing I'd ever do would be to leave these players. Love that, man. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I think he's locked in. As locked in as you can be. Obviously, it could get tricky with the portal window opening up January 2nd through the 16th, but that's why he has Pat Biondo from Oregon as his new GM at Kentucky. That's why Ron Rivera is the Kentucky at Cal for Tosh. Like, those guys are already scouring tape and have probably identified guys who they want to try to get in the portal. Of course, it's not easy. I liked Yogi's reflection on it. But Dan Lanning did the same thing, was the DC for Georgia after taking the Oregon job. Went back to Athens. By the way, they won the national championship a couple weeks later. Beat Alabama 33-18. He was the DC for that game before taking the Oregon job. So it is possible. All right, those are my updates on Oregon. I will come out with a full predictions pod. Want to hit on some other topics as well. Quarterback transfers. You got Sam Levitt, Dylan Raiola out there among other guys. Which ones would be the best fit for Oregon, I think, is an interesting topic. We'll also talk a little Kenny Dillingham, and I'll give my my preview for the games this weekend. So that'll be the pod coming out tomorrow. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you next time.